Hey baby girl, meet Taylor, the second addition to the BabyGirl roster. Taylor is absolutely adorable and I love her skin tone and eye shape, so I can't wait to see all of the different looks I create with her. Today we're going to do something bronzy and goldy and get some pics out in the sun. I do apologize for the video quality. I have all of these studio lights and didn't even use them. But she looks so pretty, so I didn't have the heart not to upload. And her pics came out fire. So, if you like to see how I brought her from this to this, then keep on watching. Alright, let's take it back to the beginning. Like always, I'm starting with the brows. Just using my little spoolie here to brush them in place. I don't want to make them too dark because her natural brows are light and I think that suits her. I'm just lightly filling them in and making them a little more bold and shapely. To clean them up, I used a MAC concealer and NW45, but that ended up blending pretty much perfectly with her skin tone. So forget using this part to find the highlight color. I believe I just found her foundation color. I do have a MAC foundation stick in NW45, so I'll definitely be testing that out on her. So I did test out that color on her, but for whatever reason, the NW45 foundation stick looks lighter than the NW45 concealer. That could be because I tested the concealer on her brow bone and the foundation on her chest. But anyways, for her foundation, I used the NW45 concealer mixed with a little NW55. I'm using a concealer brush to lightly sweep the color across her face and even out her skin tone. And I am loving this color match. To highlight her face, I used NW43. I put it on all of the high points of her face and blended it out with a sponge. I am happy with this color choice because I don't like a super light highlight. I just want it to look like the light is always hitting you perfectly. For her contour, I used a black opal foundation in the shade Ebony Brown. I placed it in the hollows of her cheeks, the perimeter of her forehead, and the sides of her nose, and blended it out with a Real Techniques Expert Face Brush. There was no need for me to cut this contour with a lighter concealer. Taylor already got all the cheekbones, and her nose contour came out perfectly without having to do that. After I blended that color in with the Real Techniques brush, I went back over everything with my sponge to make sure that there were no lines and that everything was blended back into her foundation perfectly. Now it's time to set everything. To set all the areas that I highlighted, I used Laura Mercier Translucent. I like that it gives a bit of a brightening effect as well. I don't bake with setting powder. I just get a thin layer on my sponge and press it into the skin. After I do that, I go back over it with a powder brush to blend out the edges and to get rid of any excess powder. Now I do love Laura because it gives me a really smooth under eye. However, I still hate powder in general, and I'm not crazy about whatever undertone is giving. So I try to spray it down real good and get all of these products meshing together. For bronzer, I'm using a MAC Studio Fix powder in NW58. I gave up on trying to find good bronzers for dark skin, so I've just been using dark foundation powders. There are some good brands out there, so I will continue my search later. I only applied this to her cheeks because her forehead was warm enough from the cream contour we did. And you're always going to see me chase powder products with my powder brush. The way I do makeup, I kind of just slap stuff on there and blend later. For highlighter, I used a Fenty Matchstick and Rum. I love cream highlighters. Well, clearly I love cream products in general. But with cream highlighters, I just feel like it's a lot easier to get it to look like a natural glow as opposed to powder highlighters. Since that's a cream product, I use a Real Techniques buffing brush to really press it into the skin. For blush, I used a Black Radiance Baked Blush in Brick House. It's a really deep red, but I used just enough to give a subtle wash of color. And then of course, chased it with my powder brush. Well, you've been seeing me chase everything with my sponge too, but I wanted to make sure that she was blended. No lines. And now that her base is complete, I sprayed her down with some MAC Fix Plus to mesh all of those powder products together and moved on to her eyes. First, I highlighted her brow bone with that cream highlighter. I love seeing a bit of glow there when the light hits it. Then I used a light color concealer as her eyeshadow base and blended it all the way in. I'm going to be using glitters for her eyeshadow, but I decided to use a medium brown color as the base to make this more of a neutral soft glam look. I packed this color all over the lids and blended it out into the crease. Now for the fun part, the glitter. I put down a NYX glitter primer on her lids first. If you don't have a glitter primer, you can also use a lash glue. For the glitter, I mixed a couple of Jade Cat Beauty glitters. One of them is in the shade Gingerbread Sugar, which gives like a dark brown sparkle, and the other is Amazing Gold, which is a true bright gold. The paper towel is primarily to catch the fallout, but I used the edge to create a little wing. I like that it looked like the Amazing Gold was on the lids and the Gingerbread Sugar was on the wing, so I recreated that on the other eye. To give her eyes some dimension, I lined them with a black gel liner and put some mascara on her before putting on her lashes. For lashes, I used Ardell Wispies. Wispies are my favorite because they look super natural, but still help tie the eye look all together. To make it look like she grew them herself, I used more mascara to blend them in with her natural lashes and used a lash tool to pinch them together. I used that same medium brown shade on the lower lash line and the same pencil I used on her brows on the lower waterline, and added some more mascara on her bottom lashes. To hide the band from the false lashes, I went back over it with some more gel liner. And last is the lips. I kept the look neutral and monochromatic and went with brown. I used that same pencil for her lip liner and topped it off with some clear gloss. And she is all done. I love that she has deep set eyes. This eye look was perfect on her. I love the natural contour and the soft glow and the subtle color. I just love everything. She is definitely giving supermodel. Make sure you're following us both on Instagram to see her pics. We had a great time working together, so expect to see more of her. As always, thank you so much for watching, and please look out for next week's video. Bye, baby girl.